Hi, I'm Dad Williams, and you are listening to the TigerTalk Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TigerTalk Podcast. I'm Noah Woodland, joined by Morgan. Morgan, how are you today?
Great as always, ready to do it all over again.
Yeah, we've got a different guest today to the other two that we've had on. We've had, obviously, Ed Williams and Sopri Chukwuobieri, two players for the first one. This time we've got head of youth coaching, Josh Taylor, on to the podcast. Josh, welcome. Nice to have you on.
Yeah, how you doing, guys? Yeah, thank you for inviting me down. So, looking forward to having a chat and talk about a few things around the club.
Yeah, it's the youth sector is obviously something important. We'll get onto that later. But first, we'll just start with, your early days in football, how you got into football, and talk us through a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I got involved because of my dad. Really, he was a local grassroots coach for Abbey Rovers, and I kind of just followed in his footsteps. Really, playing a bit of grassroots under 10s and all that stuff, and then I worked my way through. I was never as good as Ed Williams or anything like that, so I don't want to claim anything I played in academies. But I was always a decent player. Left back, only had one left foot, and that was it. No right foot. And then I went on to progress into the lower leagues of grassroots football. Started my adult career in a club called Taverners. I don't know if you've heard of them. They play at Nailsworth, right by Forest Green.
Okay.
And funny story actually. When we were playing in Northern Senior then, and I think we scored a goal the same time as Forest Green scored a goal, and 1,000 people chanted, and we thought it was for us. But when it progressed there and went through and kind of had little spells at Long Levens and Frampton, and a few years ago at Stonehouse in Hellenic 1, where I really enjoyed myself. But it was just hard to do the managing and the playing, so I kind of had to take priority on one, and progressed, and here I am really doing Gloucester stuff now.
Yeah, and then now we go to, like you said, it's hard to do the football and the coaching. We're into the coaching side now. When did it first dawn on you that coaching was something you were interested in?
It was probably early ages, really, when I was maybe 14, 15. I always had aspirations to progress as a coach. Obviously, seeing my dad coach as well. So he was a big role model of mine. So I always wanted to go and progress and see if I could do it as well. And it started with again kind of doing my sports coaching placement, sports coaching degree, and then with that I did a placement at Abbey Rovers where I did little under 7s soccer camps, what was great. And then since then I just progressed through the ranks. Really, there was an opportunity at Gloucester doing the under 12s and under 13s in the junior Premier League. So I progressed that way, and as time went on, obviously I went on to do my level 2, now called UEFA C, and with that UEFA B, and then I took a bit of a step in a different direction and went to coach at Cheltenham Town Academy, doing stuff there. What was brilliant, and working with some great talented players. But since the opportunity to kind of come back to Gloucester and really start back up the under 18s programme, and then with this obviously doing the head of youth, it's kind of just made me channel my coach that I wanted to be maybe 10 years ago, that I looked at myself. So Yeah,
you mentioned the youth under 7s, under 8s. When you tell people, I coach the under 7s, they might think, oh, he's not getting anywhere in his coaching career. How important are those little stepping stones in your coaching journey? Oh,
absolutely massive. I'm sure when people have conversations with someone like Daff, first team manager, and Kevin, and we the good common ground that all coaches and managers have got is that they've all had to start in that position. And I think they're really big foundations in terms of that child development and youth development. And then with that, you can progress into the more technical and tactical side of the game, to eventually look at, going to the 18s level where, it is competitive football and you want to win and you want to get results. So it's really important to get those early foundations on. And, that was massive for me. It was learning from other coaches who might have, better qualifications than I had at the time, gauge different experiences, and they all kind of come into one to where I am today. And, I'm only 27. I'm in my early days of coaching or managing. So I'll probably be a lot different as where I would be in 10 years' time. And so I'm always developing, always progressing. But doing the younger under 7s, under 8s is really big for that foundation of football.
Yeah, and I think it was just recently you left Gala Wilton, a role there. What was your role there, and what were you doing at that club?
So that was, I'm sure a lot of people may be looking at the results and stuff like that, and I got a lot of time for Gala Wilton. Really got on with the chairman and the vision of where the club wanted to go to. For a lot of local fans who follow grassroots football, Gala Wilton were a club in a bit of a transition where they had a few good years in the county league. But a lot of turnover of players, a turnover of manager, and when I got approached on the role, it was a bit of a gamble. Obviously, being 26, stepping into men's management for the first time, and kind of went into it probably a little bit blind, where I thought this would be a lot easier than it actually turned out to be. And my aim was create a link with Gloucester City where we can bring young players through and get an experience at county league level, trying to bridge the gap from that 18s to first team. And it just didn't work out in the end. I don't know why that wasn't. It's another great experience, a big learning curve for me in terms of where my goals are, my aspirations are in terms of coaching and managing. A big learning curve, and fortunately a few players left for different reasons, or some of the commitment wasn't there, and fair play to the young lads stepping up. That's one positive I can take away, even though they did get relegated, Gala Wilton. That actually a positive is the amount of young players who's got exposure to county league level football was absolutely brilliant, and they're competing in Northern Senior 1 now, holding their own. I think they're mid-table in that league, so I'm sure they'll bounce back pretty soon.
Yeah, and we then get on to the sports coaching degree that you underwent. What is that like for you? Like, was that a massive part of your coaching experience? Yeah,
definitely. When I wanted to get involved in coaching, I also wanted to become a teacher as well. What I am, I do on my full-time job, teach post-16 course with SEN students. So I wanted to go down that educational or coaching route. And I did my sports coaching degree at the University of Gloucester, located at Oxtals. So I did that. Really enjoyed my time there. Learned a lot of things, met some great people. As well as that, I got involved in the university football team, where one of my big role models really in the coaching world is a guy called Jack Rutter. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he was a great footballer, brilliant coach. He represented the I think it was the England Paralympics team, something like that. I couldn't remember the name of it, but yeah, he represented England number tight, and he was one of the reasons why I really wanted to progress in my coaching career, really. And for me, he was a big motivator. So really enjoyed my time there. And then afterwards, I progressed to obviously do my PGCE in education, and then that kind of shaped it all together in terms of where I wanted to become and where I wanted to go as a coach. What kind of leads me to being here really as a teacher and the head of youth.
Yeah, and you've got your UEFA B badge. With coaching badges, how important are they for coaches to have?
I think they're important because it's like anything, isn't it? Degrees or qualifications open up more doors. I don't think having a coaching badge necessarily makes you a good coach. When I was younger, I thought, if I get my UEFA B or my A licence, then that instantly makes me a good coach and I know better than everyone else. But that's not true at all. I know loads of really good coaches that have only got their FA level 1s. It didn't really define you as a coach. I think it's all about kind of those concrete experiences of when you're younger, coaching with younger age groups, being out on the pitch as much as you can, building relationships with players, networking, and all those things kind of come together to make a good coach. Doing my UEFA B, I actually did it down in Cornwall, so I had to go down there like 4 times a year. For anyone that's been to like Plymouth Parkway away and all that stuff, it's not an easy journey. So I went down there and stayed by the seaside for a few days. I really enjoyed it, and I think with it, I know a lot of people that want to progress and get their badges, but there's only limited spaces on the FA portal. It shaped me as another achievement that I'm really happy with, and something that I look to progress on. I definitely got aspirations on doing my A licence. When that comes, I don't know, but that will come in time.
Yeah, and you talk about going to those courses and spending 4 days down in Cornwall. Just talk us through what a day-to-day sort of looks like whilst you're doing your badges, because I know a lot of coaches want to go and do it, and as you say, there's limited spaces. So what does a day down there look like?
Yeah, well, a day for me was getting up at 5 a.m. and driving down for a 9 o'clock start. So yeah, lots of coffee on board. But yeah, with that, it's mixed of theory and practical based. So it's 3 to 4 blocks over the year, where obviously you got an assigned tutor as well. So with that, you go down, you do some learning days. It could be based on different themes, like in possession, out possession, a transition, whatever it might be. So it's that theory with them practical. And then off that as well, then I had a tutor, a guy called Steve Lilly, actually, his name was. Great coach, great tutor. And he come down and did my visits, where he gave me some great feedback, some observations. And then with that, you kind of just build a bit of a portfolio over the season, really. So I did mine with Charlton Town 15s. And you kind of just build it and watch it grow as it progresses through. But it was a great achievement. I really enjoyed it. I recommend anyone that's got the opportunities to do it. Obviously, there's a lot of barriers that get in the way of it. That's obviously, the application process. And I think it's like £1,200 now to get on the B licence course. What's crazy. So,
Wow.
Yeah, if you got, I'm very lucky. I had some, I was very thankful to my parents for contributing. And, I had to be very kind to them for definitely a long time for them to pay for that. But no, it was a brilliant experience, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, some coaches. I think I heard the Dorking manager Mark White saying, "Oh, I don't need a coaching badge to tell me if I'm a decent manager." But each to their own on that opinion.
He said, didn't he? He said if you get to I think you have to have your A licence to get to the Football League.
Yeah, League Two.
And didn't he say he was going to get the kit man or something like that to run it or something like that? But I understand. Someone like him is a great example. What's he got? Probably a level 1 or UEFA C.
Yeah.
What he's done with Dorking Wanderers is absolutely brilliant. So I think that kind of proves that it isn't all about badges or qualifications. If you kind of got that fire in that belly and you understand the game and you want to watch players grow, then anyone could do it.
Yeah, so we go on to our next segment now, Morgan?
Yep, we can, and it's the Quickfire Questions. So Josh, I'm just going to rattle some questions and just go ahead and answer them. So first one, we've got favourite film?
Probably Django Unchained. Don't know if you two watched that.
I haven't watched it. I've heard things about it.
Violent. Maybe I should change that for this one. That one. Oh, Shawshank Redemption is probably one of my old school classic.
Classic.
Yeah.
Favourite song?
Favourite song? Sparks, Coldplay.
Coldplay.
Massive Coldplay fan.
Have you been to see him anywhere?
Yeah, 3 times actually.
Oh.
Yeah, amazing experience. I recommend anyone going.
Yeah, I want to go to them, defo.
So next one's favourite artist, but is it Coldplay?
Yeah, Coldplay on that one. If not, I'm a bit of a Take That fan as well. I don't mind Take That.
The circus.
Classic.
Yeah, a bit of an old school music choice I got.
Favourite food?
Favourite food, probably an Indian, I would say.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's your Indian order go-to?
I would go for a lamb sagwala. Have you two had that? It's like a
I can't say I
vegetable,
have.
Never heard of that.
vegetable spinach dish. Honestly, really nice. I recommend it.
Decent.
No, I know what to go for. My next Indian. Favourite sport outside of football?
Do you know what? A new one has been paddle.
Oh,
big time.
I like paddle. I need to play it more. I would probably say we play badminton with the students quite often, and I like that one.
Big one. Favourite footballer of all time?
Probably it's got to be Cristiano Ronaldo on it. Do you know what I mean? I'm a Wednesday fan myself, but watching United when I was younger, do you know what I mean? That 07-08 season, I absolutely love that.
Serious player. Favourite manager, or who do you think's the best manager of all time?
Probably. I'm going to have to go Sir Alex Ferguson on that one. I think, watching United when I was younger, I really enjoyed them. But, recent years, probably Pep Guardiola's got to be up there, hasn't he?
He's got to be. Best sporting event, or?
Sporting event, something like the World Cup or something
Yeah,
like that.
just
I'd probably World Cup, I'd say. It's got to be. Obviously, England's never got to, nice to see England actually go and win something. But, yeah, that would probably be that for me.
Favourite Gloucester City player?
Player. I'm a big Joe Hanks fan, but if Ed's listening, I'll have to say Williams for that.
Favourite Gloucester City volunteer?
Dave Miller. Yeah, he's a top guy. I see him every day around the ground. every day. He's a brilliant guy. He does anything for the club.
He's one that goes under the radar, isn't he?
No. Very, very nice guy. Very nice. And then the final one here, Sheffield United or Sheffield Wednesday?
Wednesday. I can't believe you asked that one. Yeah, well, me and my dad got a matching tattoo of Sheffield Wednesday badge on our legs, and we absolutely get loads of stick from it.
Oh, well, yeah, that moves us on to, we'll do a bit of a Sheffield Wednesday segment. They're obviously... Yeah. Well, actually, before we get to the serious stuff, what are your sort of favourite memories with Wednesday? I know you went to that famous Peterborough game.
I think I've never seen the good old days that my dad talks about when they were in the Premiership and all that stuff. So when I was growing up, we were always fighting, if it's relegation at the Championship or League One. I remember my first ever game my dad took me. I think we played, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Barnsley. And there was fighting in the other side of the crowds, and I was more entertained by the fighting and all that stuff. And then but I think in recent years I was lucky enough to go to the Peterborough one, and I actually had got a ticket for my dad for that one. And for the ones that don't know, we were 4-0 down the first leg, and I said to my dad, "Oh, come on, let's go. You never know what's going to happen." And he was like, "Nah, I ain't going all the way to to Sheffield to see us get knocked out." So I had to take my partner instead, and she come with me, and we watched that game where we went 4-1 and then 5-1 and won on penalties. What was amazing. And then probably with that has to go, Josh Windass winner against Barnsley in the final, I think in the playoff League One final, 123rd minute. So that was a great memory for me. Obviously, it's sad to see the way the club's going at the minute, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, you talk about the way the club's going now. It sort of brings us to Gloucester. Obviously, you know yourself and Colin. They're very, very hands-on. We were saying before you came in, you're basically at every game we're at. We always see you there. How important is it for people, around the club to actually be going to, all these away games and the women's games and all these youth games? Yeah,
I think it's really important. When Colin took over, he mentioned to me that a big part of it is being a community club, and I think that's absolutely massive. My role in the club, I'm a volunteer, just like a lot of other people are. So it's important that all people come together who love the club and enjoy the club. And I think we only want one goal, and that's to support the youth and to support the first team in their progression. But it kind of it captures you in, doesn't it? The moment you go to that first away game for Gloucester, or whatever it is, or you go on the team coach with the players. Those things stay with you, and that feeling of winning, nothing beats that for me. And since then, it's a great opportunity for me and my old man to spend a bit of time together and do the thing that we both love. And I love football, and he loves football, and even though it can be a bit stressful at times, getting those 3 points on a Saturday is definitely rewarding. And it's great. It's brilliant to meet fans, meet new people around the ground, and you guys can see on a home match day, it's absolutely buzzing now. The amount of young children we got with Gloucester City shirts, coming around and seeing their favourite players. For me, it's fantastic to see.
And you talk about getting on that team bus, enjoying that away day. What is there a standout moment, would you say, from your time at the club? Something that really sticks out as feeling proud to be part of Gloucester City?
Probably have to say playoff semi-final last year. I think for me, Walton and Hersham. Obviously 2-0 down. You're sitting there thinking, what's going to happen? They were absolutely all over us those first 20 minutes, and the great turnaround. It was an absolute brilliant day, and for me that sticks with me, that feeling on the bus on the way home. With all the fans absolutely buzzing. Obviously, the Tottenham one was disappointing. It was, but beforehand, probably that feeling of nerves. That's why we all, either watch football or get involved at Gloucester. Is those feelings of big games. That's what we all want. I was going to say Merthyr around Christmas time or New Year's Day last year, but obviously that last minute goal kind of ruined a few things. But they're probably some standout moments for me.
Yeah, I think the Walton one, getting back at 2 a.m, they're the sort of days that, they make it all worth it, don't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so a little bit of going back to Sheffield Wednesday, but also interlinking with Gloucester City, those Wednesday academy players that are getting a massive step up to the first team at the minute. The pathway through for the under-18s to the first team at Gloucester City is like it's minimal, I would say. Some fans maybe ask, "Oh, why don't we see the under-18s in the first team?" What do you put that down to?
I think a little bit of context, around the reasoning behind it. For the ones that don't know, obviously, 2 years ago we didn't have an under-18 squad. Pretty simple as that. We went 3 years without having an under-18s, and the youth section as a whole is always in a bit of transition because it's run by volunteers, coached all volunteers. We don't make no profit from the youth, so it's trying to be sustainable with that. And when I spoke to Daff in pre-season, I was very open and honest with him that the 18s program isn't where we want it to be currently at this state for young players to make an impact. Great experience for them, and Daff's been very open to welcoming players. For example, last night we had 6 under-18s train with them. What's absolutely brilliant. So on a weekly basis, they're training with them. I think it will come. It just takes time for the 18s program as a whole really to blossom. So there's plans in place to obviously bridge the gap. What we want to do. Obviously the first team got intentions to obviously go up this season. Was great, and we kind of want to make progress our end. So if that's running like a development team as well and trying to make a little bit of a stepping stone, but for anyone that knows, the gap's so big from under-18s football straight to Southern Premier, and it's a real difficult league, physically. Obviously, you've got some teams that are either hybrid or full-time as well. So it's important that, yes, we want to progress them and push them when possible, but also we don't want to, put them in vulnerable situations that in fact might actually have a negative impact. So we want to care for them as well. So it's giving them exposure to that first team experience, but not pushing them too far. That because every game's massive for Gloucester, isn't it? When you're sitting in that top 3 or top 4, you don't want to drop points. So it's important that we keep the momentum going. And I'm always there if Daff needs support, and we already got 4 or 5 players signed on with the first team as well, so they're there and they're ready when called upon. But it's been great. The Forest Green game last week, to as it was down as a first team fixture, it was great. We said to the lads, this is an opportunity to show what you're about, and you're representing the first team. And Daff come in and he shook all the lads' hands and got involved and said some few things. What's great. So he's very open to it, but it's a project. It's going to take time to blossom. We got a 5-year plan of where we want it to go, and obviously we don't want to share too much about that. But I'd probably just say to the fans, and just be patient. Trust the process and what we're working on, and in time we should hopefully start seeing some lads progress through.
Yeah, and those County Cup experiences, you said about the Forest Green game, I think they played their 21s. How good are those experiences, not only for you, but for those players as well? Yeah,
it's brilliant. We said to the boys, in pre-season that we'll give them opportunities, and we've done that. The likes of playing academy teams in pre-season, like Bristol Rovers, and beating them 5-3. We can match academy teams. It was disappointing that we had a few players away on that midweek game against Forest Green. We called it 3 under-16s to be on the bench. Once again, another opportunity. For us, games like that where, yes, we'd all love to win. What's brilliant, but they're at a developmental stage of their career where that's an opportunity to show themselves what they can do, opportunity to show us, and we'll give them opportunities, and the high attainers, the players that are starting to show that they can reach that level, we'll give them opportunities for it. So we kind of take that result as a pinch of salt. It was just an opportunity to showcase what we're about in the 18s program. It was great support as always. That's the one thing we have to say, is that we have a really good following for our under-18s game. I think we're averaging over 70 attendance. What's great for a Friday night game. So there's a lot of people do want to see the 18s grow and improve. And so we're absolutely thrilled with that one.
And you talk about how good these experiences are. Not only for you as a coach. What would be the advice to your own players, or if there is any academy players who are watching this, who are getting those opportunities to play, against professional players? What would be the advice to, you're saying, right, you're going from playing under 18s and you're playing, as you say, you're playing against like proper league professionals? I
would say, biggest thing for me and Sean in the 18s is just play, just keep playing. Take every result as it comes. Take the good days, take the bad days. But yeah, that's the biggest thing for me is like, obviously you don't want to burn them out because a lot of these lads they're playing at Hartbury or dual reg of other clubs at step 5. But it's just getting that exposure as much as they can, and that's all it is. We say to them, keep playing, keep getting involved, keep showing your face, keep working hard, and opportunities will come. I think the thing is we say to them, we don't want to run before they can walk. It's they're still in their early stages in their career. A lot of them are 16, 17, so they got a lot of things to learn and a lot of time. So I think it's really important that even though they see, I want to play this level, I want to do that. It doesn't have to be now. I think take it in their stride. If that's playing their developmental football at Gloucester and learning, and then having the exposure to men's football on a Saturday and getting kicked up in the air a little bit, that's all part of it. So yeah, that's my biggest advice is just play. Just play as much as you can and enjoy the process.
Yeah, and you said then about the crowd that come on a Friday night. It's ever growing each week. How important are those people that come every week that for the players to get that bit of experience of having a little following behind them and to make sure that these fans keep coming to see your games? Yeah,
it's brilliant. Yeah, because the first time this season now we've got these little group of kids behind the goal and they always bang on the fence and do little chants. What's great. So that following is massive, and it's just grown year on year. To look where we were 2 years ago of not having 18s to look where we are now. I think we're in a really good place. And as we mentioned, it's a community club. The community is massive. They drive. They would drive the programme, and it's great that people want to see that. We got a little set of guys who are probably in Gloucester City fans for absolute years, and they come down and they get themselves a beer and enjoy it. And I always take time after the game to have conversation with everyone who might ask questions. So we try and make it as a professional environment as possible with the resources that are available to us. But yeah, can't fault the fans. They're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's just massive when you got to keep this following going, and if there's ever a Gloucester City game on a Saturday and it's away and you're not going to go, if you're a fan, start looking to the Friday night and coming to support the youth of the club. I think it's just massive, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. I think there's football for everyone at Gloucester, isn't it? The amount of use that pitch gets used for, and the amount of teams we have, it's brilliant. If I'm Gloucester fan, you can have a whole weekend of football, couldn't you? You can have your Friday night game, you can have a Saturday with the men's, and then watch the women's on a Sunday. So it's absolutely perfect, and we really appreciate everyone that comes down and gives us as much support.
Yeah, and now we get on to your new role, head of coaching at Gloucester City. You mentioned it a few times already. Talk to us about the club's idea of bringing you into that role, and what does that role entail? Yeah,
so I was actually umming and ahhing if I was going to have a year apart, year away from football. Obviously after that year at Scarlet Wilton, where those results, it was hard. It was a very long season. I think I just needed something new. So I spoke with the chairman over the summer, and he mentioned that they want to take some time and investment and start looking at the youth and run it as a proper programme. Gloucester City Youth over the years has had its challenges, was probably the same at every single club. So for me it was about bringing some stability. I had a clear vision, philosophy of what I wanted to implement, and so that kind of happened. And since then it kind of just blossomed and took a bit of time. My roles kind of changed in terms of doing stuff off the pitch where I want to be on the pitch, getting those bits sorted. But it's been great really. The coaches have been open and to new ideas, even though there is some change around that. And it was just trying to cement some foundations in terms of there's a clear identity, and I keep talking about this Gloucester way in terms of how we want to play and how we want to coach, and that's really, really important to us, and we kind of want to follow in line of Das visions, and obviously seen a lot of things he does with the first team players. He has his clear values and an ethos and an identity to his team, that's being hard working or whatever it might be, passionate, showing desire, and we want that to kind of streamline and filter down So yeah, so for me, it's just overseeing the development of the 12s to 18s program, and supporting them in their progression, and it's looking at, you know, how can we expand, how can we evolve, and come up with new ideas to try and make it one more sustainable. But then also the biggest thing I think that all fans want to see is just make sure, you know, the youth is actually worth it. And we've got some players coming through, because the biggest thing for me was in pre-season was looking, the last person I can really remember from the academy going up and properly making more than 5 appearances was Jack Hill, and that must be maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and what a player he was. So for me, it's looking, we've gone wrong somewhere. Can we look at some other models around maybe what other non-league clubs are doing, and can we start putting a little bit more focus so we can see some progression with our youth?
Yeah, like Morgan said before, whenever we're at the club, you're down there. You said just then you were thinking about having a year out, and now I think I've seen you a few times pumping up balls, shipping the delivery in, organising everything. Talk to us a little bit about the behind the scenes and the long hours that you do in this role.
Yeah, a lot of long hours. You know, there's a bit of a running joke now at work that they should get me like a bed and sofa in the clubhouse because I don't really, I can honestly get there at 8. And it's just, I guess it's just a life of a coach. And so when you know, when you're passionate and you want to see a club progress, you know, it was easily last week. You know, I'm going in, I'm washing all the kit, pumping up 50 balls for all the youth that come, sorting out the kit deliveries. And there's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that either parents or fans of the club don't see. And you know, that's why I appreciate all coaches' hard work, because, you know, we're asking volunteers who are passionate about the club to obviously give up two evenings and a Saturday a week. So I appreciate that, and you know, I'm a big believer that, you know, you put a bit of time and effort into something that, you know, you'll get rewarded. So yeah, a lot of time, hard work, but you know, for me, if I could see one of the 18s progressing to the first team, or one of the under 13s in 5 years getting to the first team, then I've done my job.
Yeah, and you said then about the coaches. How important is it to you to have those coaches that are willing to listen, willing to sort of change around their sessions and their plans under your instruction? Yeah,
so they've been very open and honest, and, you know, change is always difficult at the start, but for me, I think change is good. So it's bringing this identity and having my clear vision and sharing that with the coaches and with the players, and you know, it's going to take time, because, you know, our youth section only started in September, so they've only had, you know, a month and a bit to really get going. So it's still in its early days, and it's going to take time to evolve, as I'm sure it will do. But, you know, I really appreciate all the coaches' hard work they put in, and you know, you talk to any of them, they're all big fans of the club. You know, they go down and watch the team on a Saturday. So having them that are passionate and want to see the players progress is, you know, perfect for me, and it's a really good foundation we got. And now it's looking about, right, how can we stretch and how can we improve the youth? If it's by, you know, maybe offering some CPD or offering some extra perks, or, you know, even looking at kind of adding a pathway in there for coaches to progress. So, you know, it's down for me to kind of have a look at the structure and evolve it. But no, I can't fault the coaches. They're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and you said before about the you've got a 5-year plan. You don't want to talk too much about. Is the aim sort of, like you just said, to see a youth player go up into the first team and play regularly? Is that sort of the goal?
Yeah, that is the goal. That's a big goal of ours, and you know, we want to make that a regular thing where players are getting opportunities to progress. So for me, the biggest thing to look at is looking at the 18s program in terms of how can we evolve that. If that maybe is, you know, offering a development team, because we want to bridge the pathway from the 18s to the first team. So it's looking at bridging that gap, and that's going to take time. If that's starting in the Hellenic Div 2, then it's going to take a few years for that to progress and get to the stage where we want to get it. And you know, the biggest thing for us is looking at how we coach and, you know, how we play, and they're the biggest two things that I keep reiterating to the coaches and to the players. It's, we've got a big identity of, we want to improve coaches, so we need to support coaches. Therefore, better coaching leads to better players. And, you know, for us is, we don't want players going and playing for local other grassroots clubs. You know, we want to be able to take the best of the best outside the academy setting, and really support their growth. And I think it's going to take some time and investment, and we won't see maybe any changes this time next year, but give it time, trust the process, and in time, hopefully by that 5-year gap, we should start seeing some success from it.
Yeah, and you talk about, as you said, the team didn't have an under-18 side for a couple of years, and obviously now, the reserves and development side sort of, it's taken a bit of a backseat. What are the biggest challenges that you've faced, since coming in, and what have you done to sort of overcome them?
I think, probably looking at the 18s programme, it's, in terms of the league we're playing in, we're in a league where we do play other local clubs around the area, if it's Long Levens or Slimbridge. So it's really important that we look at that quickly and try and improve our programme. If that's looking at playing in a different division and making it more competitive, or like you mentioned, putting in a development squad, or reserve squad that can bridge that. So. But I think it's the behind the scenes stuff. It's the looking at the day-to-day running, the organisation. That's probably the trickiest bit. So it's getting those foundations set. And I had a real nice conversation actually with Jim Hart and Bob Owen from Gloucester Schools, and it was kind of that iceberg effect. So what we're seeing at the minute is we're doing the foundations that's under the water that no one sees. But in time, that would obviously take time to grow, and it'll get bigger, and then you can start seeing the iceberg from the top. So it's those kind of stuff that we're doing behind the scenes to get it where we want it to be. And there is challenges, and I'm sure every coach or manager or club can relate to those challenges. And so it's really important that we kind of look at that structure, we look at the foundation and get that right, and then we could build upwards then. And
you talk about speaking to people from Gloucester Schools. Obviously we had Sops on the last episode, who record breaker scorer for Gloucester Schools. How important are those things, not just playing at a football club, but also playing for your school and just playing locally? Yeah,
I think it's absolutely brilliant. I had a few conversations with Bob, and Gloucester Schools have got some brilliant young kids coming through. So it's all about just providing opportunities, really, is the bigger thing for us. And you get some talented individuals that will go and play for Forest Green or Cheltenham or Bristol Rovers, and we never stop anyone. For us, it's looking at those little golden nuggets, those players that might go under the radar, and take time and investment and work with them. And that's what we're looking at, is creating that pathway where young players, when they come into the programme at under 12s, that they got an opportunity where we believe in them and we're happy for them to succeed. And it's about them working and giving that work ethic, and it's about us giving our time and effort into that to see it progress, really. And for me, it'd be absolutely brilliant. So I know Sops was at Cheltenham, and he's done some amazing things there, and he's still doing some great things within their academy and under 18 staff. And for me, that would be brilliant if we could have someone from the 12s, if it's a Gloucester Schools lad, or it's a lad that plays for Tuffley or Levens or whoever it might be, that wants to come play for Gloucester, can progress all the way through and be in the 18s programme, and then eventually play for the development in the first team. That would when we start seeing that this is a success, this programme, and and there'll be nothing better for me or the coaches to see that happen.
Yeah, I think that is pretty much it. Just one more question in before you go, Josh. We ask it at the end of every podcast. Who do you think we should get on the TigerTalk podcast next?
Oh, good question. There's a few good ones, isn't there?
Maybe someone who we've got players obviously that everyone wants to hear from, managers. Maybe somebody who goes under the radar, I don't know, that does a lot of work behind the scenes.
I would say someone like Big Shep.
Yeah.
Sheppy. Do you know what I mean? A bit of a different one. And I'm sure he could tell you some good stories, and he'll be a right laugh. And he's another one, isn't he, that goes, under the radar in terms of he does so much behind the scenes that people don't see. I think he must get to games maybe 4 hours before everyone else.
Yeah.
So he'd be a good one. I think as being a coach myself, it'd be interesting to hear Daff as well. Someone, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that, Josh. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, thank you.
And that's the end of that episode. Thank you for hosting as always, Morgan. And we will catch you in the next one.